E3 2019 was lame. And that's not because Sony didn't show up, which I actually do appreciate. If you don't have cards to show, then don't come to play. No, a few shiny moments, but most of this E3 was just a bunch of cinematic trailers and DLC announcements, with a bunch of buzzwords in between. E3 usually kicks off with EA, but I did not watch EA State of Play, nor did I have any desire to. EA, every single year, has been the most boring and monotonous presentation to sit through. And I'll admit, some of that is my bias for not caring about sports games. But what EA has done to their developers is really gross. They'll buy out a talented studio only to shut them down when they don't make them enough money. And that fault is usually not on the studio, but rather EA's bad practices. Predatory loot boxes, releasing unfinished games, and just overall being a bag of dicks has cemented EA as a cancer on the gaming industry. Oh dope, a new legend for Apex. Microsoft was lacking in momentum and enthusiasm compared to last year. With Sony being a no-show, this was Xbox's perfect opportunity to seize E3 and convince consumers that the Xbox can have a vast and exclusive library just as good as the PS4s or Switch. Yeah, Microsoft didn't really do that. Xbox has been acquiring studios left and right, and this E3 would have been a perfect time to show what these studios have been working on. Games can take years to develop, so I didn't expect gameplay, but maybe some cinematic trailers. This would have been the only exceptional situation for those. But nope, the only game shown was Bleeding Edge by Ninja Theory, a 4v4 third-person competitive multiplayer. The game looks to have a fun art aesthetic and great character designs, but it does kind of give off an Overwatch vibe. That can either be good or bad depending on how you look at it. I'm more personally interested in Ninja Theory's story-driven works, but who knows, maybe Bleeding Edge will be the next big thing. Blair Witch lets you pet a dog, so that'll probably be a day one buy for me. The indie games look very creative. Ori and the Will of the Wisp was shown for the 33 in a row, and it still isn't coming out this year. 9/11 Simulator looks pretty. 12 Minutes made me discover that Annapurna doesn't just produce movies. Quick side note, I'll be making a video on Booksmart very soon. Another Tales game. Don't care. Okay, that actually looks pretty fun. More evidence that George R.R. Martin isn't finishing his books.
I'm happy to announce our partnership with the legendary team at Smilegate. Their approach to game
Who?
design-
Then Xbox closed with a bunch of buzzwords for Project Scarlet, and a cinematic for Halo Infinite. Maybe Xbox is waiting until E3 2020 to announce new IPs right along their new console, but I don't know. I think it would have been really good to get the ball rolling because, as far as I'm concerned, the majority of the titles shown can just be played on my PlayStation. It was a missed opportunity to not give at least a glimpse of what these studios are working on, especially since so many gamers switched over to the PlayStation this gen. It's also not a good sign that when the coolest thing shown at your conference wasn't even a game. It just seems that Xbox is in the same spot they were 10 years ago. And that's, hey man, I got Halo. Usually Xbox has the worst crowd when it comes to cheering about minuscule shit, but oh boy, Bethesda's crowd took the crown this year.
The legendary Red Guard Swordmaster.
Fallout 76.
Why are you cheering? This game is fucking garbage. I would have had a lot of respect for Bethesda if they came out and just apologized for Fallout 76 and promised to make it better with updates. But they didn't really do that. Instead they announced the introduction of human NPCs, dialogue trees, and a fucking battle royale. The first two should have been in the game at launch, but instead Bethesda took part in shitty industry practices and released an unfinished product. And people fucking cheered. What the hell? The only thing shown that anyone should care about was Doom Eternal. Nothing else at the Bethesda conference was worth any note. Oh no. Bethesda? Did you just play the cute Asian dev card? Do you think you can win me over just because you show me a passionate Alright, that was a pretty cool ramen tradition. This looks pretty dope. Ghostwire Tokyo? Okay, that could be pretty good. Devolver Digital did their usual shtick, well-produced gruesome jokes and a parody of the gaming industry, but this time with less games. I checked in and out of the PC gaming show, so I don't really actually remember that much, but there was one game where you're able to turn into any object as a ghost. It's basically prop bump. It looked pretty cool. Ubisoft started off strong by lying to us about Watch Dogs again. A Watch Dogs game where you're in London and can become any NPC. Ambitious? Yes, but there's going to be a catch. There's always a catch with Ubisoft. We'll see exactly what that catch is in 2020. I'll give Ubisoft one thing. Their games can be fun. They just happen to also feel very manufactured. The Punisher showed up with his dog, and it disappointingly didn't take a dump on stage. Another Just Dance game, as is tradition, and they are still making it for the Wii. Holy shit. A Rocket League ripoff, and that one guy from It's Always Sunny showed up and announced a TV series for Apple TV at a gaming conference. Nice. No new Splinter Cell, no new Prince of Persia, no new Assassin's Creed. Ubisoft mostly just showed DLC for their existing content. Oh, there was actually a new game announced called Gods of Monsters, but it looked so generic that when I was writing this script, I completely forgot about it. Square Enix had a solid showing, if only because the Final Fantasy VII Remake looks fucking amazing. Apparently they're releasing the game into separate parts. I've never played the original, but I've been told that it's a very big game, so if it's as big as a game as I've been led to believe, I can't really blame them for that, but we'll have to wait and see how much game is in one disc. They also show Tifa, and I'm genuinely surprised the Japanese didn't go obnoxiously huge with Tifa's bust. God, this game looks beautiful. Final Fantasy VIII is getting remastered, and the Avengers game looks like downgraded MCU Avengers. And we already know how I feel about that. No, seriously, did they try asking the actors to use their likeness halfway through development, only to realize that they were going to have to pay them a lot of money? As usual, E3 closed with a Nintendo Direct, and it was very good. I was looking in the wrong direction for someone to bring their A game with Microsoft. Nintendo brought their A game this year. Luigi's Mansion 3, more Link's Awakening, Trials of Mana, The Switcher 3, Breath of the Wild Hunt, more Anime Emblem, more shitty Resident Evil ports, No More Heroes 3, Contra with Wii graphics, Nessa, more Astral Chains. Why does Ultimate Alliance 3 look more fun than the actual Avengers game that's been in development for more than 4 years? Another Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games for some reason, Animal Crossing, another Sword Fighter and Banjo and Smash, and Breath of the Wild 2. Maybe this one won't be so overrated as the first. Listen, I really liked my time with Breath of the Wild, but while everyone was claiming 10 out of 10, I was over here thinking, 8. Considering how Nintendo as a company tends to be behind on times when it comes to hardware or even their online service, the idea behind a pre-recorded video presentation with their Direct was actually some very forward thinking. Forward thinking that I'm kind of hoping the rest of the industry kind of just plays along with, because these press conferences, though they can be exciting live, especially for the people who are actually there, Nintendo was able to kick it out of the park because of this type of presentation. Overall, this E3 was lame, boring, underwhelming. It wasn't good. I don't hold the same sentiment as some people where they think E3 is irrelevant and dying. I just think this wasn't a good year. E3 is Christmas for gamers, and this year Uncle Bethesda didn't want to acknowledge that when you asked for running shoes, they gave you Crocs. Hopefully next year will be better. If you like the video and want to help me out, like and share if you can. And other than that, I'm Zap from Zap Arts. See you in the next one.